What's up, Empower people? Back at you with Keith and Kevin, Michael, myself. Listen, we're talking this show, boys. What are we talking about?
We talking about stop procrastinate.
Stop spending time in Ohio and Baltimore to get to Palm Beach. That's what we're talking about.
We're talking about empowering time.
Exactly. Yeah. Empower your time. Listen, this is something that is huge with a capital E.
I remember I had this job as
it was so
I'm
important.
having a moment. Sorry, I'm having a
This one time I was cleaning toilets.
no. I was insurance
and I
adjuster.
couldn't get the thing down in the middle.
Right. I was insurance adjuster, and man, you would come in on Monday mornings and you have all these claims. I was like, oh my God. And I would just say, but I can't do this. Before you know it, 2 hours and passed.
Yeah.
Instead of just
you were playing Tetris.
Yeah. Taking walks, talking to people at other desks. I was like, man, hating life. But you know, a lot of times when you get so much work at one time, you just like you don't want to do it. You just got to hop on it and just do it.
Yeah. I love what
that's why you got fired.
Because he did not hop on it and he did not do it.
No, I got fired because I was doing YouTube videos on my break.
So you were empowering something else in the moment.
Yeah, I was empowering myself.
I got that. Well, I love what Zig says. He says, "Hey, if you gotta swallow a frog, just don't look at that sucker too long."
That's a great quote.
Get that thing down, baby. Take care of it.
It's a great quote.
Well, and it is true because, we were talking about you guys coming to town and just kind of bouncing around playing wise. Sometimes you become a creature of habit, right? Or you get distracted by this, right? And so you find yourself so distracted in life that you don't actually do what you need to do. And that's why we wanted to talk about empowering your time because, the Empower America show really, there's several parameters to this. Obviously, there's a financial lens, guys, which everybody has, right? They got money of some sort flowing through their hands. That's one of the reasons that we created the Investing Basics course, and the covers the financial alphabet. And you can go check that out. We would encourage you to do that. You're going to learn things that'll help you have the knowledge so you can make better decisions. Yeah. Right. But then the other thing that you got to talk about is not only empowering other aspects of your life, but your time.
Yeah. I could have used this yesterday.
Yeah.
So we flew out here, right? I'm being frugal. So we're on Southwest. I got A-list, though.
There you go. Not the B-list.
A-list.
That's because you get up early to be like, bloop, I'm first in line, baby.
Yeah. So we fly
No white privilege here.
Yeah. So we fly from Vegas. I'm trying to go to West Palm Beach, right?
Yeah.
So we go from Vegas to Columbus, Ohio. We don't change plans. We just sit there for like about an hour.
Wow.
And then
sits on the time or at the gate?
Yeah.
For an hour?
Yeah. So
what were you sitting there for? Was other people getting on?
Yeah, the people got off and the other people want to get on.
So it's like the bus. Bus service.
I don't know what kind of play is like a bus service.
Yeah,
but anyway,
yeah.
So we stay on, other people board. Finally we take off, we get to Baltimore.
Mm-hmm.
And then from Baltimore, we got to change planes.
Right.
And then Baltimore, we get
bus
down
service is over.
Yeah. And then we come down here. I'm like, we're flying all day. I was like,
no straight flights.
Yeah, Southwest doesn't have straight flights
ever
anymore.
since COVID, no straight flights.
Well, think about that. So now you're in a place where, so it took you collectively. And by the way, as you're watching this, you're traveling probably to go do stuff. Maybe you're in business,
making moves,
right? Which is good. But so think about it. So how long did that take you? So you leave Vegas at what time?
Man,
we got on a flight now.
Last week?
Yeah, and the thing is, the flight was supposed to take off at I think 9, but it took off at 10:30.
Yeah,
it's raining in Vegas.
So, yeah. Well, planes
it never rains there.
Planes can't fly in the rain. We know that already.
Yes.
So you leave it. So you get to the airport an hour and a half early.
We got there around 7:30.
Yeah, you get there around 7:30, and then all of a sudden it rains.
Right.
So they give you some free Twinkies while you wait.
They don't give you that.
They give you
they give a free cup of water.
Not even peanuts?
Yeah. Not even peanuts.
Man.
Oh, they give you pretzels on
Come
Southwest.
on, Southwest. What are you guys doing?
Yeah.
So they give you nothing. You get a little of the stale pretzels and water.
Mm-hmm.
And you're waiting there, finally take off, and then you go to Ohio.
Yeah.
And then you go to Baltimore.
Yeah.
And then you come to Palm Beach. Because, here's the other thing I know. The direct path from Vegas to Florida is Ohio and Baltimore.
We flew all over the United States.
Yeah.
It seemed like
We took off. It was dark.
Did you
and
get your
then-
passport signed by the Ohioans? If that's even a word.
Yeah, it's like the whole day you flying.
yeah.
So you land at what time?
We land at 9:30.
All right, so think about this, guys. You're in a place where you wake, and we've all had this experience in some aspect, right? You wake up, you're there 7:30, you get off at 9:30, and then you're like, gosh, this is all day. You're talking about 12, 14 hours.
Exhausted.
It's exhausting, and then you're wore out, and then you come in here, we're doing shows. So when you think about that, that is not empowering your time. And that's why we wanted to
Hey,
talk.
I'll save $200.
And that's what we wanted to talk about. So you're literally in a place where when you start to think about, and this is a real thing. In fact, we literally just had a meeting in our other room, conference room, kind of my office, just talking about empowering your time and talking about like, okay, let's think about it. So you saved a couple $100, but what did you lose? And
Half my life.
Half your life. You're tired.
Yeah.
You're wore out.
Yeah.
You got jet lag.
Yeah.
You know, you're just like, you're in this fuselage in the sky for too long. You're
Yeah.
like, get me out of here.
Next time we taking Delta.
Yeah.
And our first flight was
You're gonna
delayed.
shift.
Yeah, and our first flight was delayed. So when we got to Baltimore,
Kevin's
we
putting
was
his foot
running.
down.
Yeah, we had to run to the flight for Baltimore, and we don't even get our A-list seats. I'm sitting in between this couple. You're sitting beside.
I'm sitting beside this dude that's got the
Mr.
hiccups.
Burp-a-lot.
He's got the hiccups the entire flight. He's like, I'm like, oh my God. I want to.
Hick what?
He was like, the whole way.
Don't
The
do
whole
that.
way.
Don't do that. So what we're saying
He's
is
a nice guy though.
when you meet nice people on the plane that have hiccups, that's great. But you'd rather not do that, right? So think about your time. Think about what you're doing. Think about your day. All right, let's give some practical steps, guys, right?
Yeah.
So step one, let's say you're going to book flights. Like, let's say you're not going to fly private. Let's say you're booking flights. Well, I want to challenge you to not just necessarily, if you're moving towards success,
Yeah.
if you're moving towards greater success, you have to start to think about buying your time back. That's part of empowering your time, empowering your life, right? You have to think about your time. And many people, guys, they don't think about their time as an actual valuable resource.
Right. Yeah.
They're just like, well, this day, that day. What'd you do today? Well, I don't really know what I did today,
Yeah. Yeah.
Or when they think about travel, they don't really think about those things. But what happens is, when you look at successful people, and I've learned this over developing several companies over the last 20 plus years, is you have to be super intentional. Number one, I think with your time, obviously your resources, your income, how you invest, all of those things, which we've talked about some of that on other shows, and we'll be talking about it more. But your time is a commodity and asset that you just cannot get back.
Right.
So if you're in a place where you can take that flight time and cut it in half, now you got 6 hours of freshness, 6 hours of paying attention.
But wait a minute, my bags are free.
So freshness. Yeah, exactly. But wait, there's more. So you got to think about that. And I think this is something that just people, case in point, here's you guys, great success journey doing your thing. And you're just like, I'm not even really thinking about it, right?
Right.
So this can happen to everybody. It's not like, hey, we're doing this perfect all the time. It's something that you got to rein in and evaluate. And from your perspective, guys, what is the value of, in your eyes, of having the time of not being in that fuselage? Just in that scenario,
You
what's the
can't put a
value of
dollar
that?
figure on that.
Yeah.
What he's saying is, I shouldn't have saved the $200.
That's right.
Don't forget about the free bags. Yeah. And you know what?
We love you, Southwest, but no more.
Yeah. Using your time wisely, a lot of it's just planning, looking ahead. You should we knew we was coming out here. We should have planned our trip.
Yeah.
We should have looked.
Yeah.
But we like to do things, at the last second.
I'm too loyal to Southwest. I got all these points.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's how they get you in.
Yeah.
We got all these free points.
Yeah. It's like I'm leaving my wife or something if I don't use it. Right. They suck you in.
They suck
But they
you right
used to
in.
have a lot of direct flights, and ever since COVID.
Yeah, not anymore. So you gotta think about that. We're talking about airplane. It could be anything. It could be you waking up in the morning and being in a place where you're saying, okay, What's the first thing you do when you wake up in the morning? Are you looking at your phone for 15, 20, 30, 40, 50 minutes, an hour? When you go to bed at night, are you paying attention to your phone? Like, you got to learn the discipline of putting some of this stuff aside. You got to learn the discipline of evaluating your time as you're flying, as you're traveling, as you're doing what you're doing. Here's what will happen, and this is what's kind of cool. So it's like, imagine walking down the street, all right, and you got a bucket. And in that bucket, you're walking down the street, and the whole purpose is to pay attention to loose change. Guess what you're going to start to see? Loose change. Because it's around, and you're going to see it. And all of a sudden, you're going to be like, after a day, 2 days, 3 days, you're like, gosh, my bucket's full of loose change. You're going to have all this extra money that you wouldn't have had if you wouldn't have been paying attention. Now, the reality of it is nobody's going to get a bucket walking around and pick up loose change.
Right.
But what is the reality for your time is, if you actually get intentional with this, you'll start to walk around in your day and you'll start to say, wow, you know what? I spent an extra 5 hours on the toilet this week that I didn't need to. Looking at my phone, right? Instead of just doing what I went there to do and then leaving. You know, or I spent an extra, hour and a half at the water cooler at the office because it was 5 minutes here and 3 minutes there and it all added up. Or I spent an extra 5 hours or 8 hours or 10 hours a month in travel time when I could have paid a little bit more money to actually fly a flight pattern potentially that was quicker. And what that does is, now, when you get that extra time,
got to use it wisely.
You got to use it wisely. You got to pay attention. You don't just say, okay, great, thank you, Michael. Now I got 10 extra hours a month that I'm going to spend playing on my phone.
You got to use that mental bucket.
You got to use the bucket. And these are steps that I think will help people on the journey, because I think young people in particular, like, this is a bigger challenge, guys, than even we faced.
Right.
Because they have access to technology in ways that we don't have. And so now they're in a place where they have to learn disciplines in ways that we never had to.
Yeah, they've been conditioned to waste their time.
Boom. Drop the mic.
Drop the mic.
Show
baby. Is over.
Boom. They've been conditioned. So what does that mean, parents? Hey, little side cart. It is your responsibility to help your children to reprogram. I mean, think about that. The government, society, is programming our children to do just what you said, Kevin, and that is waste time. And so we have to reprogram, just like the TikTok algorithms. TikTok algorithms in China is all about reward. You see videos of people, and they're popular, that have done really cool things, that have built things. Here it's people dancing in stupid jokes.
Right.
I mean, it's huge when you think about the difference.
China's TikTok encourages you to think more and be more creative.
Yeah, exactly.
While our government and our society is just teaching you to be stupid.
Yeah, make you a Democrat.
I love what somebody once said. There were two genders created by God, man and woman, and the Democrats created all the others.
They're still counting, too.
They're still counting. LGBTQPSRABCD3-4Z.
Right.
Yeah, it's like, come on, guys. Yeah. At some point in time, you've fallen off the reservation.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
So empower your time personally, and maybe for the first time, change your generational stack, maybe change your generational pattern, maybe start to create some success that you've never had, and you're teaching your kids how to do it too.
Right.
You know? Any last words, boys?
Empower yourself, empower your time.
There you go. Empower.
That's the key to success.
Your time. Pay attention. Keep your flight fluid. Fluid, baby. All right. Till next time, everybody. Peace out.
Yeah.